I've long been a fan of the famous countryside broadcaster Jack Hargreaves. Jack came to my notice through Out of Town, which was a Southern television programme, and after Out of Town finished, he had a follow-up called Old Country, and in Old Country he went and visited some of the Dorset-style mills near Sturminster Newton, including Fiddleford Mill. I'm going to follow in his footsteps, retracing what he did back in 1982 in a programme broadcast in 83 to see if we can find what's changed at Fiddleford, maybe do some fishing and try and catch a chub, which is what he did back then. Let's see how I get on. It hasn't changed much in nearly 40 years. The millstone's still there. The barn door's been changed. Fiddleford Stone's eroding badly, hardly read it. And we've got a new mill. This is a Archimedes screw hydropower installation that's been there about 8 or 9 years. Provides about enough power for maybe 17 kettles. Is it worth it? Is it destructive? I think so. Here's the old sluices. These are still used. That one's broken. When it's in flood they'll be raised to let the water through. The river's in good trim today. Here's the overspill weir, and it's got fish passes for eels, sea trout and salmon. Continuing downstream to the big mill pool. There's a view of the overspill weir and the hydropower outfall with its throbbing sort of water coming through, the pigs on the island. And this is the area by a gravel island where Jack fished back in about 1982. Very shallow now, the island's got a lot bigger over the years. There's not really a swim there at the moment. I'd like to have fished there, but I don't think we're going to get much, just a lot of reeds. Here's a raven, they're increasingly common in Dorset. One time they were just on the cliffs on the coast. Using a centre pin today. This is an Adcock Stanton, dates back to the 90s, with a Normark Titan rod, 13 foot, that once belonged to Mick Maidment, one of the top Christchurch anglers. Using a homemade Avon float, fishing with bread, feeding liquidised breadcrumb, feeding a little ball about the size of a golf ball every cast, and running round this eddy. It's around about 6 to 7 foot deep, seeing if we can find a chub or a roach. Quite a fair breeze blowing at the moment. Just a matter of gentle cast, pull a bit of line off, fishing about 3 rod lengths out, working the float round the eddy. Almost from the off I've had a few shy bites. I think the small roach down there, not really what we want, and with a big piece of flake on a size 12, they're just going to nibble away. The wind's playing a bit of havoc with my line control with a centre pin. As you can see, the current comes back under my feet. Close in it's shallow and snaggy. Get a better idea of the width of the swim here now. Fishing a fair way out. The current's constantly changing as well, so what can be fairly still one moment, a minute or two later is boily. See those big boils building up in the current there. They're the liquidised bread floats initially. It soon sinks down in the water. Missed that bite. In the distance you can see the Trailway Bridge. This was the old Somerset and Dorset Railway that ran from down in Poole all the way up to Somerset. The old brick bridges were blown up long ago, but they've been replaced with steel girder bridges so that people couldn't cycle and walk along them. They certainly get all the way from Sturminster Newton down to Blandford. At least 2 bridges were replaced in this way. Just a matter of easing that float along the edge of the current. Quite easy fishing really as it goes. Fish at last. This feels quite decent. It's a chub alright, quite lively in the current. Got to keep him out of those snags close in. He's not big enough to cause any real problems. He's soon in the landing net. Chub of about £1. That should do nicely. I'm patiently working the swim now. Is there another bigger chub out there? That's the beauty of fishing a wild water like this. Bites aren't guaranteed. A big fish could come from under that tree. There should be some roach out there somewhere. I caught decent ones here in the summer. Isaac Walton called chub the fearfulest of fishes. They don't take kindly to banging on the bank, to keep quiet, avoid casting a shadow over the river. There's another fish, small one this time. It's a small chub, about the size of a decent dace. The mouth is different to a dace, it's bigger, and the anal fin's got a convex shape to it, not concave as in a dace. With the pin you can just move the drum with your thumb if you want to inch the float through. See the flood debris on that branch there. Missed that bite. Quick spin of the drum and the float's back in. This is a better fish. Not sure it's a chub this time. I think it's a good roach. Pulling hard. Steer him around the snags and in the net. Close on a pound, possibly a bit over, possibly a bit under. Got a bad mark near its tail, whether it's been attacked by a cormorant or an otter or a pike. That's a nice fish. That'll do to end the session in this swim. Hope you've enjoyed this video today, revisiting where Jack Hargreaves went nearly 40 years ago. Please click like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and there should be some more on the way soon.